What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse and the LCC Network for our power ranking episode, part 1, because we're going to have 8 parts of this throughout the offseason. This week, we're literally just talking about power rankings for one of our divisions, because first, we kind of wanted to see how long an episode like this is going to take. If it ends up taking a long period of time, obviously, we're just going to do a bunch of these episodes. If it goes pretty quick, then we're going to do our best to combine this with something like a mock draft in the future and so forth. So with me today, I've got Jordan, of course. Like who else would be on the show but Jordan at this point? But we also have a very special guest.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, there he is. But we also got a special guest who used to be on the show actually throughout all of 2020 and the beginning part of 2021. We got Cody back. We brought him back. Woo! That's right. We've got the old gang back together. Cody went missing. Actually, his face is in a milk carton for a number of months, and Jordan found him.
Yep.
Yeah, I rescued him.
Yep. He looked like Jesus, so I followed him.
Jesus in a wheelchair. I mean, why wouldn't you?
I mean, he seemed to be floating to me.
Oh man. Well, guys, let's get into this. We have got 4 teams to talk about. 2 of these 4 teams made the playoffs last year. One of them was very close to getting in. The other one kind of fell off at the tail part of the year and did not get in. But we think very highly of that team going into 2021. At least two out of 3 of us do on the show when we did our power rankings right before we started. And without further ado, Jordan, give us our sound drop for the day as we dive into this. Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I go all out for us.
We're doing the Conference A East Division. That's right. We don't have actual conference names still in our league after we merged our old conferences together.
If anybody's got any suggestions, throw them in the comments or the group me or whatever you're listening to this on.
That's right. I feel we should set a deadline. If they haven't set a deadline, we just come up with our own random conference names, Jordan.
This is going to be Conference Jordan.
We're in the same conference. We're in the same conference.
Declare
it. We'll have a conference, Patrick.
I'll take a conference.
I'll take a
conference. There's only 2 conferences.
I want a conference.
There's only 2. Only 2 of us get this. I don't know. Maybe the little conference and the critter conference. I don't know. Who knows? We'll think.
Well, count me in the critter side.
Critter side. I don't want to be part of this little side.
I'm not little.
I'm not little. Oh man! All right, so we got the Conference A East Division. At least in terms of how the season went last year, first place was primetime players. He had a very strong season, made it to the Little Critter Bowl again, back-to-back years, but came up just short in the end. Finished regular season 8-4. Then we had the Crazy Legs getting as a 6th seed. He finished 7-5. Mr. 300, the only team in this division last year to have a winning, what's the word I'm looking for here? I can't even think. The only team in this division to go over 500 in divisional play for the season. That's Mr. 300. Even though he finished 6-6, 5 of those 6 wins were against teams in his division. And then last place last year was the third leg, who finished 5-7 and was 2-4 in divisional play. And that says a lot. Obviously, if you can only win 2 games in your division, you're going to struggle because you've got a total of 6 games there that you're responsible for. If you only win 2 of them, you got to find wins somewhere else throughout the year. But that's what we're going to be talking about this episode, is this division. If you're not in this division, I still think you should listen, especially if you're in that conference, because we've got some very strong opinions about all 4 of these teams, good and bad. But I guess, you know what, we should probably start with the good, since we don't want to start on a sour note. It's not
No
fun.
sour notes.
Don't you want to end on a good note though?
That's true. Maybe we can say a positive thing about the worst
Yeah,
team.
you're right.
You can end on a good note, since you'll have a slightly different opinion on who the top team is.
That's true. This is our consensus. Let me be clear about that. This is not how all three of us felt. Jordan and I actually had the exact same rankings. Cody was a little bit different, but not too far off from us. It's not like he had our worst team as his best team. It was mostly like he had like his best team was our second best team in the division. So let's start it off with our consensus number one, the third leg, who finished 5-7, like I said. I mean, Charles is not a rookie in this league. He's even though he may play it as a rookie at times, and his overall record is 26-42. He has put together his best team in his franchise's history, in my opinion. Like, this is the best we've ever seen in the offseason, I feel like, at least.
Yeah, I really like what Charles has done. I mean, you're going into the year with Zeke as your number one, DeAndre Hopkins as your number one receiver. I like the potential of Micah Parsons, and he's already got a proven linebacker in Eric Kendricks while he's waiting on Micah Parsons. So I really like what he's done, and he took the shot on Tua. We'll see if that helps him go over the top. See what Tua's progression looks like, but overall, I like where he's headed.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
and by the way, just as full disclosure here, the third leg does not have a first round pick. That was a typo
Yeah.
on my fault. I think actually, Cody, you have that pick, don't you?
I do. Well, I actually used it on Travis, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that pick turned in Travis Etienne in the rookie draft.
Yeah. So third leg does not have the 108. His first pick is the 303.
But for me, like I absolutely love what Charles has done so far. You know, you knew he was coming in with Zeke. You know, he went ahead and went and got Hopkins. I like Kendricks as a linebacker. I think that's all good. You know, I mean, his draft capital isn't the greatest, 2/3, and then he goes 6th, 8th, 9th. You know, it's basically you got 2 picks to find a couple of starters, and they're pretty far back there already. Um, and to marriage that with Tua, who you know, is a borderline QB1 in our league. You know, is he a top 24? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I definitely think that's a debatable argument based off of what we've seen. Um, so I'm not in love with his quarterback, and I know he's not committed there, but also he still has to fill a couple of starting roles. In my opinion, I don't think you can go in feeling great with Jalen Phillips as a starter at defensive end. Um, so that's why ultimately, like, the next person on this list took the cake for me. I think he's got a little bit more draft capital. I think he's got a little bit more solved in, you know, a variety of positions. Um, but we can, Pat, you got anything to say?
No, I was gonna say, like Jordan and I, like I said earlier, this is our team that we had as the number one team, but the Kids' Choice Awards did not go to Charles, believe it or not. Our Twitter poll, at least, went with our next team and go to your number one team actually. And Charles came in second place in the overall voting, which we had 14 votes. So thank you to all 14 people who voted on that. We appreciate it. We'll be putting out another poll next week. Just throwing that out there. But I think what I like about Charles.
17 votes.
What'd you say?
Let's shoot for 17 votes.
Yep. If we increase by 3 every week, Jordan will pay all of the voters $5 each.
Correct. Doll hairs.
No, but I was just gonna say what I like about Charles is that he literally addressed every position on his team. I mean, running back. Not only does he have a starter, but he has a little bit of depth there with Philip Lindsay. Not that anyone wants Philip Lindsay in their starting lineup ever, but on a bye week, sure, why not? His receiving core is strong with DeAndre Hopkins. You know, Jalen Phillips, of course, is a little bit of a wild card at defensive end. Like, I'll admit that. But he can get someone in the third round easily. Linebacker, he's set. He needs a safety still. But again, you can get that in the third round.
Yeah, you can get both of those in the third round, but you better hit on both of those. And not to mention, you have 3 rookies. So if you're not hitting on those rookies, those guys are sticking on your roster unless you got somebody that's going to trade you and dump those guys. I just don't think his roster is in the best position to be flexible enough if he does run into some type of trouble. You're relying on 3 rookies here. 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand he's got some really good pieces, and I agree he does, but everyone's got some good pieces for the most part. It all, I think everything hinges on roster flexibility, and everything hinges on, still what you have and what, yeah, I mean, he doesn't have 2 starters for sure. I mean, and then he's relying on a low end QB1, maybe not even a QB1 in our league.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
just, I think there's more. I think he's just hindered himself a little bit and gone a little too deep with these rookie picks, as well as relying on maybe not so much of a stable quarterback. Maybe he uses one of those third round picks on a QB, and you can find a DB somewhere. For the most part, and that could be a strategy. And maybe doesn't go with Tua. I don't know. I'm just not sold on Tua yet. I need to see it before I myself would feel comfortable with that situation. I'm definitely aiming high. I'm aiming to win a championship, and I'm not saying Tua's not winning me a championship in my eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll just have to see like how those rushing yards plan to come into play. Just
I
because
mean,
I
he's
feel like
not the biggest rusher, and then he's still coming off. I mean, is he? They're going to allow him to rush a
yeah, I don't
ton.
know.
Coming with that knee injury. I mean, what is he 2 years off that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
I just,
it'll
I don't
be
know.
actually
It's
it's not 2
more
years yet.
questions than answers for me. I understand people want to hope, but like ifs and buts, but like he hasn't shown technically anything, and you're literally hinging your whole team on him being your starter. I just, but like that's what I said. Maybe use a third rounder. Maybe somebody drops that he likes. But to Daquan's point, like I really like Daquan's lineup. I think Daquan really hits on a lot of positions as well, and I think he's got really big upside in CJ Mosley. And I
Yeah,
also like his assets better with the two. He's got the second round pick and the 2 fourths with a 6. That's 3 picks to Charles's 1. You know what I'm saying? Going into the 6th round.
yeah. Let's move on since we're on the topic of Daquan. Let's move over to Daquan's slide now. Daquan again finished 8-4. His overall record is actually only 74-72. Some people that might be surprising, but if you have to go back a couple years where Daquan was at times coming in last place. Daquan at times has hit rock bottom, but has springboarded off that with draft picks later on, and he has draft capital. I mean, it doesn't. He has a second round pick. That's his first pick, and then 2 fourths. He has 6, but he's another team that doesn't need a lot of guys in this draft really to walk away with a playoff caliber team. I mean, like you said, he's got CEH. I mean, that's solid, I guess. But I think where I'm mostly impressed with Daquan is his defense. I mean, Roquan Smith is a stud. Xavier McKinney is good. CJ Mosley is great when he's healthy. So I think, I mean, he wasn't even hurt last year as he sat out from COVID. So, yeah, I really like his defense going into this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely set up really nicely, um, especially defensively. And then he only needs to address a couple of picks. I would assume that second rounder is probably going to the QB. So those fourths you're just going to use to shore up some of the, your D line, and then maybe get your second string running back or so.
Yeah, I mean, with the second round pick, he could still get a starter there, obviously. I'm interested to see, though, what does he do? Obviously, he's not going to be able to get any real depth at running back. We know that. So he's going to have to probably go after, honestly, it's going to have to be a quarterback, I would imagine, unless he goes and gets a defensive lineman.
Yeah, I think it's going to really be big to see who he puts in at quarterback to see what the true potential of his team is going to be because he's top flight at a few positions like y'all discussed with like Roquan and Stephon. But other than that, for me, it's kind of like Cody was talking about prove it. I'm kind of a wait and see it on McKinney to see how good he's going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he needs a really big quarterback or some type of playmaker to fall in his lap to really start pushing his roster in my eyes.
Like, all right, here's a scenario because I think he might be there at that pick. Ryan Tannehill, if he's there at the 223, one, if you're Daquan, do you get him?
Ryan Tannehill will not be there at the
You
223.
don't think he will? All right, let's say
There's
he
too many
is.
people that need QBs, dude. Go look at literally the top 10. I almost bet that 6 of them need QBs.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, whether or not they take them that early is a different story. But let's say,
But assuming your scenario happened, I would love that for him.
okay,
Yeah,
that was my
for
question.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
all right, Jordan, does that change your mind on Daquan's team if he lands like a Ryan Tannehill?
Oh yeah, if he landed Tannehill, he would probably be pretty close to becoming the favorite. It would rely heavily on the development of Clyde. Like if Clyde
Yeah.
turned into a top 10 to 5 PPR back, then maybe he's really cooking. But I think he would need a combination of both those things to happen to really make a run.
Seeing with Clyde, like I definitely think there's room to grow with Clyde,
Yeah, I
especially
agree.
in the passing game. He only caught 30-something passes, and he broke an SEC record before that. So you know the guy's capable.
Yeah, but if we're gonna stay on the same line, like seeing it before we believe it.
No, well, I mean it's not like we haven't seen anything from him.
Yeah, it was just.
I mean his were more rookies. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'll be on that same page with Xavier, but I also am in the same realm that's safety
Oh, I'm not.
is the easiest thing to find.
I think
DB.
I think he'll have a good year. I'm just saying it needs to happen for Daquan.
Oh, I feel that, but I don't even have to be sold on McKinney. At least you got McKinney as a backup. I think DB's the easiest thing to find.
Yeah, let's see if he goes and finds it.
Yeah.
No, it's a very interesting division. And our next team, obviously, I think we're probably a little bit higher. We can all agree on this. Before the injury happened today, unfortunately, which is very sad for Cam Akers, but even more sad for Colby, who we have as our number 3 in our power rankings for this division. And the Kids' Choice Award obviously went to Daquan. They had him as their 3rd best team. So the kids of America have voted, and they said they agree with this. But yeah,
The 14 kids.
Colby has a great track record, and the reason why I included this in the graphic, the GM's all-time record, is I think it speaks true to someone's ability to rebound in a very difficult situation. Whereas this is where Colby finds himself at this point in late to mid-July, is now he's got to go find someone who he trusts maybe a little bit more than Chase Edmonds, I would hope. But if there's anyone who can do it, it's definitely Colby, because he has a consistent track record of dominating in this league, and he has the picks to do it. And he's got 2 first-round picks. Obviously, he's got Bobby Wagner. I think he's most people's like top 5, top 3 linebacker this year and every year. Dak Prescott, of course, everyone loves him. Chase Edmonds, some people are higher on him than others. And Logan Wilson is definitely a sleeper linebacker who could potentially be a good flex player for him.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if he makes a trade or something to try to replace Akers. Just because he's a smart owner, he knows he's going to need production there to have a chance to win anything.
Yeah, I agree. He's gonna have to make a move, but he has the capital to do something like that. You know what I mean? Like he could afford, honestly, to give up Dak Prescott if it meant that he moved up a couple of picks or got a good running back. Or maybe gives up. I think it's worth it if he gave up both his first round picks and maybe an additional pick to get the 101 or to get a solid running back in general.
Yeah.
I mean, will the 101 even deal the 101?
I know, right?
Is he doing anything?
I know,
Yeah.
Is he alive?
Does he play?
Does he play? Yeah, I know. But both the Mike and Michael of the league are borderline MIA at times. But yeah, I think it's paramount that Colby finds himself a running back. Otherwise, it could be a long 2021 season.
Yeah.
But take
Yeah,
away
I
take away Cam Akers though, real quick, guys. Like, would you still have him here, ranked your third if Cam Akers is healthy?
if Cam Akers is healthy,
Yeah,
I mean, I love his like the Prescott, Akers, and Wagner trio. Like if they were healthy, like he would have a strong start to three really important positions.
as
But
well as a ton of draft capital.
yeah, so
yeah,
yeah, I would like him a lot more.
I would. I don't think I would put him. I think it's a lot easier to put the other two above because you kind of have an idea of what the roster's more of what the roster is.
yeah,
I love draft capital and everything of that nature, but I would prefer to have a filled out roster over, two first or a third because like the player depth is already low, so I want to get the guys I want. And so like I don't know, for me like it's easy to put those other guys up there because their rosters are filled out. And with this like I love what he's got going on even if he did have Cam Akers, but I would still have him third, you
yeah,
know, because I know more about the other ones. Like I think that's where it is in my mind. But he could easily like this is just like I guess a halfway, a midpoint grade. This is not his full roster, so he could easily move up if he had Cam. I guess
yeah.
we'll see what he does in terms of his counter move. But until then, honestly, now you got to look at it as Matt have a better roster with Cam. Like
Yeah, you do have to wonder that. Like, roster right now, even though I think a lot of people may have questioned Matt's waiver wire choices, like, you do have to wonder, like, is Matt's roster at the moment stronger than Colby's? Colby's got the draft capital to rebound. He's got the track record to prove that he can rebound. But, it's like we said earlier, that's a lot of and ifs or buts, and we can't really base anything on that. We just gotta wait and see kind of what happens with Colby. But that's who we got as our third. And again, the Kids of America have him at third too. And our fourth team here is Jiu Jitsu Jesus Matt, who actually finished second in the division last year, but we've got him dead last. He finished 7-5 again. His all-time record is 70-70, but he's also one of a handful of people to win back-to-back Little Critter Bowls. He's got 2 first-round picks, a second, 2/3. I mean, another guy who definitely has draft capital, even more so than Colby.
yeah,
And it makes you wonder, like, like you said, I think you could make the argument Matt might belong at the third spot in our power rankings in this division.
yeah. I mean, Marquise Brown maybe not being the greatest pick, but I don't even still mind the T Higgins pick, even with Chark having been there and whatever. Like T could be the number one in Cincinnati. Like you could see that happening. Even if Jamar Chase is eating up some, you could see him having over 1,000 yards and a good amount of touchdowns. And then you gotta love Aaron Donald. Like who doesn't? And then I like Jonathan Abrams as a hard hitter in the safe, like in the box type safety. So I mean, the only question mark is what do you expect from Chris Carson?
Yeah, that is, I think the biggest question mark here in Matt's roster is running back. I think most people would look at that and be like, oh, man, I really don't trust Chris Carson as my number one guy, but that's the card Matt was dealt with at the end of last year. And, I mean, he's had the opportunities, I guess, to go after other running backs to trades, but let's be honest, you got to pay hand over fist to get a top-notch running back in this league.
Yeah, you would know.
I wouldn't know. I traded away pretty much my entire draft to get Alvin Kamara just because, I wasn't going down the Josh Jacobs train again. I'd been down that road and I was not going on that ride again.
Yeah, I can definitely see you being nervous about Chris Carson, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked to see him have a good year. And just Matt always seems to find like these steady Eddie guys that just no one really cares about.
Yeah,
But we'll see. I'll find it interesting to see how he treats this draft because, like you said, he's got capital, and every now and then he sneaks up on us. And really puts together a team, and I know he'll be happy if he could do that one more time.
I mean, with the 114 and 118, he could easily go get a starting linebacker, go get a starting quarterback, second round, go get another flex player, or maybe get a receiver if you don't trust Marquise Brown or T. Higgins and you decide to drop one later, or maybe have 3 receivers. And then you got 2/3, which you could still get guys. You get potential starters there. Like, he's loaded with draft capital. So
Yeah, I think that's 5 potential players that he could add to his roster that really make an impact with those first 5 picks.
yeah, I mean, this is why I'm kind of looking forward to us doing like a mock draft, because it's gonna be interesting. Like, after we mock, like, how do we view some of these teams? Like, if they drafted some of those guys or if they fell to them. Like, Matt's one of those people who could be very deadly in this division if he's smart about who he gets with those first 2 picks. Obviously, you don't want to overreach for a guy. Like, if 5 linebackers are gone by the 114, like, don't get the 6th best one who's really like LB 19 or something. Like, at that point, just wait 4 more picks and go get yourself the quarterback. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, because there's so much upside here. And I know, Cody, before the show, you suggested maybe we pick like one like sleeper team in the division, and this is probably if we picked a sleeper team, this would be the sleeper team, just because there's so much upside, but the floor is extremely low as well. So Matt could go, 4. Well, I almost said 4-8. We don't do 12 games anymore. 4-9, or he could be, kind of the opposite of that and end up like 9-4.
9-4. The math equals out.
It does. It balances out, I promise. Everyone's over there counting right now as they're listening. What, does that come out to be 13? Like,
but honestly, would you be shocked if it ended up being basically Matt, Colby, Daquan Charles, like, at the end of the day? Like,
4 teams in the division is tough to do. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, these guys each got to play each other twice. So let's say there's a true dog in this division who is just dominant. Like, that guy could easily sweep one of these guys, and that's going to literally cause them to miss the playoffs more than likely. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
4 teams, I just don't know if I see it happening. 3, yeah, I could see 3. I mean, we haven't talked about the other teams and the other divisions yet. So, and I haven't looked closely enough to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw 3 teams from this division make it, because it's pretty stacked.
Yeah.
Or it has the
We'll
potential
have
to.
further information later on that.
Yeah.
Once we start breaking down all these other ones.
But I think that's what we got, guys. I mean, that was kind of a shorter episode than normal, which is a good
Short and
thing.
sweet divisional breakdown.
Yeah, hopefully that means, like I said, we could lessen the episode for another division and maybe split it with a mock draft episode, or I'm not sure. But I think a mock draft episode would be a blast, like I said, because you could really see what could go down with some of these teams.
Yeah.
agreed.
Do you guys have anything you wanted to add before we hopped off?
No, do we have any upcoming news or notes?
No, just the well, obviously we got the draft. Roughly a month away, a little over, maybe 5 weeks. Let me look.
Who's next? What division's next?
We haven't decided, honestly. Should we decide on the show or wait and do it off show and make it a surprise?
Let's just go ahead and announce it,
Yeah.
just in case anyone's still listening.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that.
Give him a nugget.
Yeah,
give
give
him a
it
little
a
nugget. It's like you stayed after the credits. You deserve to see the preview for the next season.
This
Or
is
next
everybody
movie.
waiting at the end of the Avengers
Yeah.
movie.
That's right. That's right. These are the true fans right now. I don't know. What do you got? You want to do like another division for this conference, or should we take it to the other conference and do one from over there?
Let's switch it up. Other conference. Conference Patrick.
Conference back.
Well, that is the East Division in Conference B, which is. You're talking about our conference, or you're talking about our division, or both?
No, you remember Jordan Conference?
Oh yeah, that's right. Even though we're in the same conference.
Conference Little.
Conference Little.
Conference Little. I don't know. Like,
cup.
maybe I feel like, Jordan, we should save ours for last just because half of that's going to be us talking about ourselves. And I think most people probably don't want to hear us talk about ourselves.
Yeah, we'll have to get a couple guests on for that show to break us down.
Yeah. Maybe, screw it. Let's do the Central Division in Conference B.
Central
What is
it
that?
is.
I don't even know.
Go ahead and
That's
name
your
who it
division,
is.
Cody.
Oh, is it?
That's it. That'll be interesting. We got Cameron, the
I
Spurs,
was like,
Cody, the Steel Curtain. We've also got Slapdicks, which is Austin Burnett, and I'm missing someone.
oh, Michael.
Michael. Yeah, I mean that. There you go. That's fine. And
No
Michael.
wonder why you looked at it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the division. That'll be interesting because I think we can all say at least 3 of those teams are looking pretty good right now. Even not even looking at draft picks, just rosters in general. They look pretty solid. Let me say.
Pretty solid.
But we do have. I'm actually a little. We have 6 Saturdays if you include this Saturday until the draft. Yep, 6. So that's good. We're not far off. We're making good time.
Get close.
We are going to have to do an episode where we talk about 2 divisions though, so we can fit all this in, and that'll be cool. It'll be a little bit longer. Maybe we'll save it for not this week, but the following week, like the middle episode. Make it the big one, and then
So you think you can fit 2 at once?
Ooh yeah. No, I
If
think.
that's what people want, that's what we'll give them. Like,
Are you not entertained?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the plan. Next week, tune in. We're going to talk about Conference B's Central Division. Jordan, sing us a song as we hop off.
She's got eyes of the bluest skies.
Childhood memories.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.